All right, hello. Oh my word. So, if you've been following the channel, you've probably heard me talking about this scene right here where the DeLorean returns home over the Golden Gate Bridge in Back to the Future 3 and is crushed by a train, okay? And this particular scene was giving us what I thought was probably going to be the Super Bowl final, the actual Super Bowl, okay? So so the DeLorean here, we went through a whole bunch of other decodes. This DeLorean, the Seahawks is a good reference to the DeLorean. They have the silver coloration connected in their uniforms. The gull wing doors on the DeLorean, the thing that flies, the silver that flies, okay? So this is a good reference for the Seahawks right here. And it's also a good reference for the Patriots as well, because the Patriots have the flying Elvis symbol. Yeah, this is the flying DeLorean, and with the flying Elvis, there's also it has the two red streaks coming off the back of it. Okay, which is like the fire trails that the DeLorean leaves behind. So anyway, what we also have in this scene is let me just move this on a little bit. Is we have this train which looks like it has the same colors as the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, okay? And it even has this kind of, you know how Rams horns kind of turn here, and this thing is ramming the DeLorean, so it's a Rams reference, okay? And so I was thinking this would be the final. I was like, yeah, this is going to be the final. We're going to see the Rams beat the Seahawks first, and then in the final, we'll see the Rams beat, I thought it'd be the Broncos. The Broncos also have got references to the DeLorean. And the Broncos, on the back of this, um, on the back of the DeLorean is this reference to the Broncos, which is, if I can get to the point, is this license plate with the colours for the Broncos. And it's the last thing that flips around and comes to a standstill when the DeLorean is smashed. So there's me thinking we're going to see, the Rams beat the Seahawks and then beat the Patriots or beat the Broncos. I was thinking the Broncos because there's a lot more reference. There's a ton of horse references with all this stuff. Okay. And there's also a double Rams here. There's also a double train reference here. Yeah. So like a Seahawks Rams game, they get destroyed, and then the next game, the Super Bowl game would have been the Rams versus either the Patriots or the Broncos. Okay, either one would have worked basically at that point. Now, okay, I was like, there is, so this didn't pan out. This did not pan out. Okay, for whatever reason, it didn't pan out. Right. Anyway, I'm still kind of like, oh, this works so good for the whole thing, But there is another. So this is the end of the line reference here. San Francisco is the end of the line reference in Back to the Future. Okay, if you've seen 88 Finis and Porus's decodes, okay, he picks up on this, and I think Decoding with Cody also used some of his stuff in his decode for the end of the line, where he's got some really great connections as well with this whole idea of Super Bowl 60 on the 8th of February being the end of the line. Okay, well, okay, this is all to do with a jump back home. Okay, this is Marty's last jump back home, but Marty makes another significant jump back home in Back to the Future Part 1. Okay, and in fact, when we're doing the 88 day jump, which is from the night of the thunderstorm, which is on the 12th of November 1955, but when you go from the 12th of November and go 88 days, it takes you to the 8th of February. Okay, so we're going the 12th of November, 88 days is the 8th of February, which is what is Super Bowl day. Okay, so there's our 88-day jump. But when you think about the idea of the end of the line, let me show you something, because this decode, the prophecy that's in Back to the Future still works for this. So we're going to now go back to 1955, yeah, to where Marty actually makes that jump to travel, you know, I guess to where we could run on our 88 days. Okay, so we're going to go back to 1955, and we're going to see where the end of the line is, because the line comes off of the clock tower, okay, where he catches the lightning. It comes off of the clock tower across the street here, and the end of the line is attached to I think it might be an electric pole actually, or a lamp post here. I think it's actually a telegraph pole or electric pole. Okay, so this thing's coming across the street, and this is the end of the line right here. Now what you see at the end of the line is something that I've talked about over and over again, is this barbershop reference. And in the barbershop, it has what looks like an upside down Space Needle. Okay, in fact, a lot of the time that I've talked about this, when I've talked about the idea of, if you've ever watched Jurassic Liars, I used to watch him a long time ago. I haven't watched him for a while, but he's got everything you need to know on Elvis, on the Space Needle, on all that, on all that stuff, right? And the reference to the Space Needle is the phallic symbolism entering into the metaphysical. Okay, so right now the Space Needle is sitting with the phallic symbolism at the point of entry, at the Stargate, yeah, and my thoughts have been in the past that if we see something happen at the Space Needle, you're going to see that ring just drop down over the top of the spire, essentially, that's sticking up. Okay, and that is essentially what it looks like has happened here. Yeah, like it's either upside down, the Space Needle is either upside down, or the ring that was at the top of the Space Needle fell down and is now at the bottom of is now on the ground. That would indicate the traveling through the portal. Okay, traveling through into the metaphysical. Okay, anyway, the point is, this blooming thing here is a Space Needle. And not only that, but on the top of the DeLorean here, okay, where the plutonium chamber is, I don't have a picture of it, but that also looks like the top part of the Space Needle, the top of the Space Needle. This is where the lightning is coming down. Either place it goes here, the end of the line, is a Space Needle reference or a Space Needle reference on the DeLorean. The lightning strike. Okay? And remember, the Patriots have Flying Elvis, okay, that leaves the fire trails. Okay? This is, so we have, in this scene here, with the end of the line reference, we have the whole, we have the two teams right here. We have the Seahawks, the Seattle reference here, and the DeLorean itself is a Seahawk, and it's a Patriot, and the end of the line, and on there is another Seattle reference with the plutonium chamber. Ah dear. So we have those two things there, and what's even more nuts is, if I go through this a little bit more, I've shown this before as well, is that, let's see, hang on, there's a couple of references to other numbers here. Okay, now So we see the 911, yeah, as this camera pans wrapped down. But if we stop at a particular point, which is just right here, I can draw on here, and now you can see some more connections, because the Super Bowl that we've got now, seeing as it's the Patriots versus the Seahawks, is a repeat of Super Bowl 49. Okay, it's a repeat of this Super Bowl. Okay, which is super duper interesting, with two numbers that have been showing up an absolute ton for this, for the 28th, for the 8th of February, and this 24 reference, which is the completion of a cycle, 24 years on from 9/11. Yeah, so it's absolutely completely bonkers, actually. You know, it's always so much easier to do a decode after something's happened, after something's happened, than try to predict something. You just basically luck if you get it right. You know, you just happen to look at the right connections at the right time, sort of thing. Anyway, so I've got a whole bunch of all of this stuff right here. This is just the tip of the iceberg for references, but it's here, yeah. We've got connections. There's other connections in here. There's pi references in here. Let's undo that a minute. Hang on, let's get rid of a second. So if you just go on just a second or two more, there's several other references here. Okay. By the way, with that 49 reference there, we've also had a lot of 149 references with birthdays. I mean, there's an absolute ton. I was just watching Decoding with Cody, and he mentioned the Pope again, and their connection, the connection to the Pope, in with new popes coming into power that sort of match up somewhat with Seattle being in Super Bowl finals. And our last Pope Leo now is a 14th of September birthday, if I'm recalling correctly. Also, I was talking about the coin, which has, again, Washington's head on it. Again, Seattle is Washington State. And that coin was designed by, I can't remember who, but I'm pretty sure it's also a 14th of September birthday, the person that designed the quarter. It has the eagle on the other side, yeah, okay. And a lot of this stuff is to do with silver. So that's really important, that an eagle symbolism that connects back to the quarter. Obviously, for whatever reason, Americans like to split their games, their sports games, up into quarters. And yeah, it's just crazy. Anyway, there are other numbers here. Okay, so this is a Packard 8. So this is an 811 in here as well. Okay, there is also the symbol of pi in here as well. Okay, we've got the Statue of Liberty flame. We've got all kinds of. We've just gone through tons of this stuff before. Okay. Yeah, we've done, like, tons of stuff before. Anyway, I'm going to leave this now, and we're going to start going through some of these connections with mostly the Patriots stuff. Okay. I've got a couple of little bits that tie into the Seahawks, but it's mostly Patriots stuff. I still can't get over the, either way, those teams that were in the final, it didn't matter to a certain extent. It didn't really matter which way it came out, because it works, The decode is here as well with the end of the line. So, let's get on to this. Right, I've got a ton of stuff to get through here now. So we can get rid of that. I think we'll just get rid of the whole lot. Okay, where are we going to start? Oh, I've got the US quarter up. We can just look quickly at this. Do we want to? I don't know if we want to waste time on it. This is, look, designer here. Laura. 14th of September. Right there. Crazy. Okay, anyway. as I've said before, we are looking at Madonna tying into this Super Bowl. Maybe some type of ritual with Madonna. I think my thoughts have been pretty much always in the past that Madonna would die before the Hoover Dam falls down. Okay, because it's the same sort of symbolism as this, you know, the old crony, yeah, the Black Madonna has to die in order to have the rebirth. And so the ultimate rebirth event will be the Hoover Dam, the water's breaking, and okay, that's going to be the birthing event, right? Anyway, got the Super Bowl trophy, Madonna, the Black Madonna. We've done connections with this before. In fact, we've done connections with Madonna and Eli Manning before to do with the Super Bowl in 2012. Her Super Bowl that she did where Eli Manning was man of the match. So we have within this already, we have a decode that connects back with Madonna and the Super Bowl. So we know that, you know, there's already a connection here to Madonna and the Super Bowl. That's what I'm trying to say. Will there be a further connection with a ritual at a Super Bowl? Either, you know, like a remembrance event. I think she's gonna. I don't know, but the 31st. There's a lot of matches for the 31st of January for it, and don't forget the 131 train that goes over the cliff, which we've already had some references with the Seahawks and the 49ers game running up to the Super Bowl here. Again, the 131 represents Madonna quite nicely because from her birthday to Christmas is 131 days. And again, we've got the, you know, the black on the front of the train is a red circle with 131 in it. It's black colored, black and red. Okay. Right, what else we got? Oh dear, Dan. The Vinnie Jones stuff. We just had all the Vinnie Jones stuff. Remember, from his birthday up to the 31st was some crazy number jump that left us with the 2500th prime number or something like that. So this 25. Remember, she does her Super Bowl on 25. Remember, Diana's train is 25 feet long. Remember, what we're talking about is the clock tower, which is the Tower of Diana. This is why we're seeing so many 1-7 references, because Princess Diana's birthday was the 1st of July. Okay, and the reason why that's so important is because the number 7 is the balancing number between columns 5 and 6, between the twin towers. Okay, we'll go to the chart, Lorraine, in a minute. Okay, and we'll explain all that. Anyway, the first thing we've got to look at, I want to show you, is the founding of the Patriots, November the 16th, 59, and we're going to do a number jump. I'm going to look at something here in just a minute. Before we get onto that, though, while we're on the subject of iPet Go, remember they brought out all of those videos. And of course, this is reset to a different point in the bloody video here. So in this particular video here, these are all these random videos they brought out, but in this particular video, they've got a duck that looks a little bit like it could be a male duck, maybe. So we could call that a drake. Okay, interesting that they brought that out with the 101 reference on the video. The 101 reference is the Hoover Dam. It is the gateway. Okay, the hole between the two legs, ground zero. Okay, so if you're not already familiar with this, Drake May is the quarterback. Number 10 is a completion number. Okay, it's basically 0 again, right? it is like even when we're looking at the Space Needle, we've got a 1 with a 0 at the top, yeah? Again, the Flying Elvis here, remember the connection with Madonna and Elvis is Madonna's 19th birthday is the death day of Elvis. So 1977, 8/16, 1977, the death of Elvis is Madonna's 19th birthday, right? Notice the fire trails here, okay, on the Flying Elvis. I'm pretty sure the first time I ever heard that was probably from JL, okay, and also the actually hearing about Madonna's Elvis's death on Madonna's birthday, there was also something that I'm pretty sure I heard from JL years and years and years ago. Okay. Anyway, so Drake May, there's lots of references we can look at with Drake. There's lots of references we can look at with May, because of course May Day 5/1 is a number that we've seen a ton of, an absolute ton of. Remember, it's 105 days from 9/11 to Christmas. So 51 numerology is going to be super important with this as well. And we've got some big number jumps coming up with that in here. And also, I want to just point this out. This dude's birthday is very similar to the day of the year. The numerology for it is it's the same as Tom Brady, the GOAT, okay? And note that they're bringing out a film. I can't remember what it's. I'm sure it's about Curry, and I'm sure it's called The GOAT, and it's coming out on 2/13. And then there's another film coming out as well. I can't remember what it was though, but it was something interesting that's coming out on 2/13. And I'm sure it was referencing 101 or something. I can't remember now what it was doing, but it was another thing that was like, oh my goodness, that's a Hoover Dam reference as well. So they keep advertising films in between these games that are coming out on 2/13 that would so reference the Hoover Dam as well. Let us do. Who have I got first? What have I got with these? I've got a deflate gate thing here. I don't have these in the right order, to be quite honest. What's this one? I'm hoping that this doesn't start deleting. Oh, don't do it. It did. This is so annoying. Every time I come to do a video, if I've got a ton of tabs up, it starts deleting my number jumps. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to look through on the small and just see if I can spot what it is. On the thumbnail I can see it. I think these number jumps are further down here. Let's just go back. Let's go back and work back the wrong way here. This is going to be awkward. So let me show you a couple of number jumps. Let's see if this will stay in here. This is one right here now. Okay, it is. Alright. So this number jump here is, okay, I've kind of got off of kilter here what we were actually trying to do, but this is Drake May's birthday through to the 31st, which is this date that I've got pegged for Madonna, right? 8555. So the 85 is really important. There's a ton of references to the year 85, especially with Back to the Future and a couple of other films, and one film we're going to look at here in a minute, and another film we just looked at, Teen Wolf. Okay, so 85 is super duper important, and you've got to remember these are the two numbers that are at the top of the two towers in the chart of the rain as well. Anyway, look at this. So straight away we've got the number 29 showing up. 29 square pyramidal. Okay, the 29 number is the reference to the white wedding. Okay, the 29 is the reference to the white wedding. remember, we just had the Vinnie Jones story where Madonna doesn't do weddings. Yeah, she doesn't do wedding singing. Okay, and then we did the wedding singer release date was on 2/13, and it was a Friday the 13th. Back whenever, see the previous video with a crazy number jump through to this 2/13. I think it was. Again, we've got a 29 coming up. This is all about these two things coming back together and restarting. Yeah, the white wedding, when stuff starts again from the beginning. Okay. Okay, so there's that one. Let's just delete these as we go because that'll get rid of a little bit of confusion here. This is his birthday, again, through to Madonna's birthday. Nothing super duper interesting apart from 16, 8, her birthday, 58 in here. That's what was interesting, is that her birthday numbers, albeit a little bit jumbled, are in here. Okay, not too jumbled either. I mean, 16th of August, and then the 58 is around the wrong way there, and you've got to reuse the 8. Yeah, botchery, but I thought it could have been any other random number, you know. So that was interesting. This is the number jump that I was just looking for. This is the founding of the Patriots. Now, this is absolutely mental. This is the founding of the Patriots through to Madonna's birthday. 457, not that interesting. This is a different permutation of the number that's on the side of the train in GoldenEye. That scene where the train gets destroyed is a reference to Madonna. But 457, nothing that interesting until you click it and you find out that it's the 88th prime. So that is absolutely bonkers. Okay, yeah, Patriots founding through to Madonna's birthday, 457, which is the 88th prime. Ah, that is absolutely crazy, but we're going to keep getting rid of these. Okay, what have I got here? Okay, before there's a reason why we've got this Hindenburg here, because we're going to show you some stuff. Now, we're going to be all over the place a little bit here. Okay, there's some really crazy stuff there as well. Where can I jump back to? I tell you what I wanted to show you, but I think that I got rid of that just deleted that, which was the jump with. Let me just show you this before, because in case I lose the number jump when I'm going through these. But where's Tom Brady gone? Look at Tom Brady's birthday. Okay, let's just examine this for 1 second. So he is August the 3rd, 77. Now he's August the 3rd, and Drake May. Where the hell did I have him? Drake May is August the 30th. You're just removing a 0. It's the same numerology. Yeah? So they've replaced the goat again with somebody that has the exact same numerology essentially on the day of the year, 8/3. That is pretty insane that they managed to find somebody that could match like that. 2002, and I think I had a. Let's click this and see if it goes. It's going to go. Darn it. Well, we could put it in. Let's just click it in real quick. 8. That's the 2002, and it would be quicker to 8/3. 70. Got to go back to 77. So let's see what this is. 9159. Okay, I don't know if there was anything interesting on the. I don't know. 8. That is interesting. 8/23. Remember, that's Kobe Bryant's birthday. Remember as well, we did all the stuff with Teen Wolf. Snatch is released on that day. Teen Wolf is released on that day. I mean, there's just so many references to 8/23. Okay, that is super duper important. And also 915 is super duper important with the May Day reference, okay? Because I'm going to show you why in just a second. And it's also 2528, yeah. Madonna's Super Bowl was on 25, and this one coming up now that we're looking at for Madonna being on it again in a different guise is 28. So that is pretty mental as well. This 915, let me show you why that is interesting, because of the Mayday reference, right? So Grace Jones is in a film called A View to a Kill, and we'll go through some of the references here back to this Super Bowl. But her birthday is the 19th of May. She plays Mayday in A View to a Kill. Grace Jones, 19th of May. Okay? Let me show you again why the Mayday is important, because let's go back to this scene. The Mayday, if you backtrack here, if we could get a shot, actually we might get a better shot. Where would it be? I kind of want it in the background here. Actually, you can see this. There's the plutonium chamber, and that's looks like the top of the Space Needle there. Okay. Okay, that's not what I want. I can't really see it on the. I wanted the barber shop. I'd have to go to probably a daytime shot of it. But anyway, with the barber shop there, they have the barber pole. Okay, I think it's probably just the other side of this. Okay, I don't know where it is. But anyway, right here somewhere is the standard, looks like a Christmas candy cane, you know, with it all, with this ribbon going around it. You know what a barber pole looks like? Anyway, the barber pole, if you look at it, it looks like a maypole, yeah, because a maypole gets a ribbon wrapped around it. So this, as I've said many times before, it could be a Mayday reference as well at this point with the barber pole, okay, a Mayday reference. Anyway, lost my train of thought again here now. So we've done the Tom Brady thing. That's kind of interesting. The fact that he's got about the same numbers for the day of the year. What else have we got in here? I'm kind of losing my track because I got so much. I've kind of already lost my train of thought on all this. Let's try and do this Hindenburg thing, right? So, what I want, actually, really what I need to do is work through this here. Let me see if I can do this. So let's forget about, well, let's do this first. So with the Drake theme as well. So Francis Drake, you might have heard of this character. A bit of a pirate dude, okay, or privateer as they were known back then, but basically pirate. But anyway, at some point in time, so this is the Drake reference, you know, and actually interesting with San Francisco, okay. He's credited with helping save England by playing a crucial role in defeating the Spanish Armada. So this is a battle at sea, okay. So this connection with the Seahawks, okay, and saving England, the New England Patriots, with Drake. I just thought there was an interesting connection there, and also one of their old logos was actually a whatever the hell that's called. What is that called? What is that called? A tricorner hat. This thing right here. The same thing as bloody Jack Sparrow wears, yeah? Kind of reminds, yeah, oh, also Johnny Depp has the 6'9" birthday, the same as Michael J. Fox. So again, yes, super interesting. Sparrow, all that connection back with Blemin. Donnie Darko as well. So you can go around in circles. Okay, another couple of things that I want to mention as well. We actually need to get onto this A View to a Kill reference as well. So the Flying Elvis was first used on March the 31st, 93, to replace Pat Patriot. This is also, remember, we did all the decodes with the Postman, okay, and Postman Pat. We had a big, that was a big reference as well. So the Pat reference with the Postman was quite a big reference as well. So the Pat is super interesting. Don't forget the Pat is the father, the pater. Anyway, March 31st. This again is a certain person's birthday. In fact, it's a couple of people's birthday that tie to Madonna quite well. One is Ewan McGregor, who is the main character in Trainspotting. Okay, and also Christopher Walken. That's his birthday as well. And if you look at Christopher Walken, is Zoran in A View to a Kill. Okay, here's the end of it. Here's the Golden Gate Bridge, and here comes the air balloon, the blimp that's going to crash into the Golden Gate Bridge. And again, we're going to go on to this Zeppelin, the Zeppelin reference, because of course, if you remember the film Black Sunday, they also have that Zeppelin reference with that thing coming over and kind of crashing into the thing, starting to crash into the stadium there. I don't think actually it kind of knocks down a light, I think, or something. Anyway, there's a bomb reference with that. There's a bomb reference that's just happened previous to this, in fact, with the character playing Mayday that we were just talking about, who is Grace Jones, who is Mayday, okay? And she's coming out of the mine here. Now, remember in Back to the Future, they have to blow the silver mine to get the DeLorean out, okay? And not sure if this is a silver mine, or what kind of mine this is, but it would be interesting if it was a silver mine. It's been a while since I've seen the film. And here she comes with the small bomb that was going to set off a huge bomb underneath here and cause an earthquake and cause Silicon Valley, I think, to sink into the sea, which is a very similar theme to what happens in Superman with Lex Luthor. It's almost the same theme, so to speak. And we have the Hoover Dam reference in that film, Superman the movie, 78. Anyway, here she comes. Mayday. Okay. Boom. Okay, and don't forget that we had a bunch of stuff with Roger Moore connecting in with, blimmin' hell, Charlie Kirk. Loads of connections with him and Charlie Kirk. And also, Madonna's daughter was also born on that day, the 10/14, and also she started her last tour on 10/14 as well. Interesting. Anyway, A View to a Kill, we'll come back to that in a minute. I've got some more connections with this, but this film is absolutely loaded. And in fact, with the horse references, the start of this film is actually has a huge horse reference as well, where Zoran is doping his horses in order for them to win. So he can, I think it's so he could make more money off them selling them. Okay. Anyway, so this film is absolutely loaded. We'll go to some of the numbers with it in just a second. What have I got? Trying to sort of pick through this a little bit. The problem is I'm losing my blooming way here. Let's just jump to something completely random again. Red Rum. Okay, when we're talking about racehorses, if you listen to JL, he'll talk about Seattle Slew. Well, here's another famous racehorse, Red Rum, and the connection here is back with The Shining as well, with the Red Rum, and also the Rolls Royce in Who's That Girl has Red Rum written on the side of it, and the Rolls Royce is the thing that also crosses, like where the DeLorean gets smashed up by the Rams train there. The Rolls Royce also does that, goes in front of a similar train in Who's That Girl. And of course later on in the film it's got Red Rum written on the side, and we can look at these two dates here for interestingness. I'm just going to get rid of some of this stuff as we go through, so we can so I'm not getting so confused. This is the birthday of the horse. It's 22201 days through to the 13th of February, Friday the 13th. Let's see what that is. It's the 149 square. I mean, you know, out of all the numbers we've been seeing right now, all these birthdays, yeah, Clayton Moore's birthday, yeah, the Lone Ranger. Oh dear. Okay, so that's interesting, right? What else we got here? Come on, Dan. This is the death of Red Rum. Again, with the 1-7, with the Diana numbers here. I don't think there's anything particularly interesting with this number itself. It's the fact that it's 11077. These are the numbers for the temple, yeah? Anything majorly interesting? No, I don't think so. No, I don't. Let's not worry about keep clicking through all these. Okay, but that is majorly interesting. What else have we got here? Rule 17. Come across this. Rule 17 in the NFL is a rule that allows them to change the outcome of a game if something crazy has happened. I just thought this was interesting with a rule that's sort of unfair acts. Just came across it. But that is also fascinating, right? What else have I got in here? Here again is Sir Francis Drake. Okay. Notice that he died. Oh, I don't have a really circa 1540, but for his birthday. But the 28th of January is his death day, and again, remember that's the 28th day of the year, so it's a straight 2-8 reference if you want it to be. Okay, look at the spouse, Mary Newman. Oh dear. Okay. Right. Get rid of him. Sir Francis Drake, yes. Help save England from the Armada. And interestingly, we had that train crash in Spain. I seem to think that I saw somebody else mention there's been more train crashes in Spain. An interesting connection there, maybe, I don't know. Okay, here we go. Here's another Drake reference, and we're not even going to go to the singer in this. Matt LeBlanc, we're back with Friends. Friday ends, yeah? Friday ends, and Matt LeBlanc in Friends is Joey, and Joey has this connection to this just random connection with a woman that looks like Madonna. Okay, his agent in the show, and she dies in the show as well, and they have a funeral for her. His agent in the show looks like Madonna, right? Anyway, we're going to look at his age because why are we going to look at this now? Because there is a connection, because in Friends, Joey plays neurosurgeon Dr. Drake Ramore. See, look at this as another Rams reference here, really. Ramore. But he plays Dr. Drake Ramore, right, in Days of Our Lives on, I think it's Days of Our Lives on, whilst in Friends, if you can make sense of that, okay? Anyway, so this Drake reference with him, I thought, you know what, I'll do we'll go from, what's this number jump here? Yeah, that's his birthday through to Drake May's birthday. Yeah, Joey Matt LeBlanc through to Drake May. Right, 12821. Oh dear, we've got the 28. This is a palindromic number, which is, this is only going to happen 3.5 times in a year, so it's fairly rare, and it's also pretty interesting with the numerology there that we have. Okay, because his best buddy in the film, Chandler Bing, who is Matthew Perry, dies on 128 numerology. And Matthew Perry we're going to look at again in a minute as well, because it's just everything's interconnected with this friend stuff. Anyway, I thought that was interesting, especially as we're on 2-8 for the Super Bowl. Get rid of it. Come on, just get rid of some of this stuff, Dan, because this is going to make it easier. Okay, so yeah, get rid of that. So this is the woman who plays Estelle Leonard in the show, who is Joey's agent. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, she is June the 5th birthday, and I'm like, hang on a minute, June the 5th. Sam Darnold, who is and don't forget he's got the 1-4 for the clock tower, right? And I think what Cody pointed out as well, that when you put the two together, you've got the 10-14, like Charlie Kirk, his birthday. But anyway, 28 years old. He's also got a June 5 birthday, so I thought better do from one to the other. Oh, hang on a minute. I don't know if I have it in here actually. Where is it? What's this one? Can I remember that? She was, I'm sure it's in here somewhere. June 5. Was it 45? I can't remember. We'll go back to it and double check it. I thought it was something interesting, so better just do it. 6, 5. I know this is painful, but my keyboard is sitting off to the side out of the way. What was his? I can't remember. Was it 97? Let's see. June Gable, she's on 45. He was 97. Yeah. What was I just at? Here to 97. 50. Oh, it's 52 years. That's what's interesting about that. 52 years. Some marginally interesting stuff there, but 52 years is what's interesting. We've had certain, remember Madonna Super Bowl was 5-2. The number 52 represents in the calculator setup, right? 5-2 is a reflection of each other here. So this represents the chalice, right? Again, I thought that was interesting because also 6-5 or 5-6. There's another reference to 5-6, and in fact, maybe we should just go to it, which is 1937. Where the hell's that gone now? We can't. I'm sorry, this is all over the place, but it's just like there's apps. I've got him up there twice as well. Now I don't know where where did it go? I don't know, but we'll put it in. We'll do his birthday, and we'll go 5-6, which is, and we'll go to 37. This is the Hindenburg right here, right? The Hindenburg disaster. On the surface, this does not look anything interesting. 60 years, 30 days. But if we click it, It's the 209th triangular. Did I show you that one already or not? I don't know, but that's absolutely mental. So that's Darnold to the Hindenburg. And the reason why I bring that up is because of the film Black Friday, this film as well, with the bloody reference to this thing. And what that Hindenburg is it's a silver bullet and a balloon popping at the same time, and a Led Zeppelin at the same time going down in flames. So yeah, super duper interesting there with that whole idea of, and again, when you look at the Super Bowl trophy, yeah, when you look at the Super Bowl trophy, if it'll come up, yeah, it's a big balloon sitting up over the, up over San Francisco Bay there, yeah, just like here, yeah, right. What else have I got here? I wanted to mention silver prices because this is what we're talking about with the balloon, the silver balloon popping with the Hindenburg. Is the idea if this thing keeps going up, what's it going to go up to? I kind of like 155. 129 would reference the Hindenburg quite nicely. The Hindenburg was, I think, number 129 or something. There's a whole bunch of numbers it could go up to. 131. If nothing happens on 131. 113, we're already going to get pushed past that, I think, before it breaks. 125 would be a good number. 152. There's all kinds of numbers that would work for great references. Really like 155 though, but let's get rid of that. This is just random. This is just Madonna's gematria with Veronica in there, which is her confirmation name. We've got the 282 in there. Just mentioned the 129 with Hindenburg there. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that because of the 282. And again, with Madonna doesn't do marriages, I probably should have looked when the divorce was. Looked in 2008. Guy Ritchie's marriage to Madonna through takes us now to 9180, which is, again, we've got 25 years, 49 days, well interesting again, remember. And because her Super Bowl was 25, and we got a repeat of number 49 in the hometown of the 49ers. 49 to do with gold with the 49ers. 918. This is Matthew Perry's birthday, which is just a flip of Madonna's. Okay. One thing I also forgot to mention is that Tom Brady, this is just random, Tom Brady is born 13 days, because Madonna has a lot of 13 references, and 131 is pretty interesting, and this Friday the 13th is pretty interesting. He's born 13 days before Madonna's 19th birthday, which is 13 days before Elvis dies. 13 days. Okay. Anyway, 918. This is Matthew Perry's. So this is Madonna's wedding through to 28 is Matthew. We've got Matthew Perry's numbers coming up, and you can just flip that number around, and it'll give you 816. Okay. You've got to read this backwards for Matthew Perry. 819. Okay, and they're just 3 days apart in terms of the day of the year. Okay, which is pretty interesting as well, especially with a number that will rotate like that and be the same. Okay, get rid of that. There he is. Note again, I feel like I already mentioned this, but 28th of October, that the October, the 10 there is essentially a 0. Okay, you've done what the 10 represents. You've done one cycle and gone back to 0. So when you get to 20, you've done 2 cycles and gone back to 0. This is a 0 number there as well. You can use it as a 0. That's the way I look at it. So it's a 28 reference, and it's that 128 reference that we just saw as well. Super duper interesting. We're going to look at some of his stuff. really quickly. His birthday through to that particular day doesn't look interesting on the surface. What is it? His birthday through to Super Bowl 2325. Is that anything special? It's a prime number. Oh yeah, so if we now click on that, now look at this. It's 1980. It's back to his birthday there. Composite. See, it's stuff like that. It's just, it's nothing really on the surface, but there's a nice little twist to it that gets you back to that date. Okay, right, whatever. Matthew Perry. Okay, we've got him up here again. We've done a ton of stuff with him. What have I got here? I can't even remember what this is. 214.97. I feel like that is I cannot remember what that is. What is this? Let me see if this perks the memory here. No, I can't remember what that is. Sometimes I wish I'd write a note on these things. Let's go to this next one. 5/19/48 to 2/8. This is Grace Jones' birthday, isn't it? And that's interesting with Vinnie Jones. The Jones is coming up again. Grace Jones. Let me just double check this, otherwise we could be in trouble. Yeah, it's 48. She's happens to be 77 right now. Again, another reference to the temple and a reference to okay, anyway, her birthday through to 2/8. What is it? Anything interesting? No, it's 25300 composite, which was this wasn't actually that interesting. I don't know why I've got it in here, but 253 again, 20 seconds, 7th star. That's kind of interesting. 198 composite. Okay, with Matthew Perry. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of you see that number quite a lot. 198 seems to show up a ton. Here it is, May 6th. Okay, we could probably click on it and see, but yeah, this is what I'm thinking. This reference to the Hindenburg is this reference to the destruction of silver, and that was it there. Okay, well, we don't need it now. What else have I got in here? So that was the Grace Jones thing with the tooth. I thought I had, yeah, okay, we don't need that anymore either. I think maybe, was there something interesting with like a different date here? I can't remember. I feel like there was a couple of these number jumps that you could click around a bit. Maybe it was this date, I don't know. I feel like there was something that was, it might not have been. No, nothing. Forget that. There was a couple of number jumps though you could flip around a little bit, and it was just absolutely crazy. It kept hitting. Here we go. We'll actually get onto the film now. Note the length of the film, 131 minutes. So this is interesting with Madonna. Obviously, they had a San Francisco premiere, which is interesting, of course, with the Golden Gate Bridge there in it. Obviously, it looks like. So that was interesting. There was some number jumps with this. This was one of the release dates to 2/9. Is this something interesting? Oh yeah, it was 13131 composite number. Yeah, to 2/9. Yeah, this is the wedding date. Okay, so again, you can flip these numbers around a little bit, and I think this was the one that was like they had 3 different dates, and there was a couple of interesting bits and pieces there with it. We're not going to worry about it too much, okay? Just it was interesting. Again, I just left this in here to remind people. Turning point again, June 5th. Again, Darnold's birthday, June 5th. Okay, right. What was this? This was another one of those release dates for the film. Let's see what this one is. No, I don't even know why I'm even on that one. That's almost the same as the last one. Okay, or was I just on that? I think I probably was. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, a couple of more things. The colours on here. Okay, the Super Bowl logo for this year. Check out. This is Duran Duran, A View to a Kill. This is basically the opening sequence here. Look at the colours with this, and look at the colours here, and then look at the colours of the hoverboard. Okay, especially with the hoverboard back to this, yeah, with the greens and the pinks ribbons, yeah, the greens and the pinks here, and then just the overall pinks and you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I just thought, and there's several other bits in here where it's sort of, and they start the film off. I mean, the film starts off, and Tanya there. Tanya's a name you don't see that much, I don't think. I believe Vinnie Jones's wife is a Tanya. There is a Tanya reference in the Trump timeline in Back to the Future 2. And Tanya Roberts is in this film right here, and of course she's the other kind of the love interest. What else have I got to say about it? I don't know. It's just there's a ton of stuff really. So the colours there on a reference. We've done all that crud there. I feel like there was a couple other number jumps. What's this one? Again, I can't remember what that 2/14/97 was. I feel like maybe it was. What's his birthday? What's this character from? No, it's 2/14, but it isn't 97. 2/14/2002. This is Tom Brady could not stop saying JSN the whole game. He just kept going on about this guy. Anyway, I wonder why, because he's got this is the day after 2/13. Okay, and I think there was an interesting number jump with him, but we ain't bothering with it. I can't. Whatever. Deflategate. We're going to look at that in just 1 second because of the connection with obviously Tom Brady with Deflategate, and the Hindenburg. I just thought this was interesting, like Deflategate. Oh, okay. Will this come up now? No, it's going to delete it. Flipping hell. Well, I guess we could put it in 118.15, and we can just look at it, the numbers coming through, because this is quite interesting. Let's go to the 13th first, so you can see it's a 4044, and then on actual Super Bowl 4039, I guess do that, and it's 4040, which will, and how you want to wangle it. You can move these numbers about. Was it something interesting? 4031 for Madonna for the 31st. 11 years, 13 days. I just thought it was interesting with the 444 and the 44. Quite nice. Right, get rid of that. And Deflategate again, and again, Madonna's numbers is opposite what we just saw there with Deflategate. So that's, I don't know. That 118 is super duper important, that stuff. This is Brady. Did we do Brady? I think didn't we put it in and we said it was 9159. We looked at this with the 2528, and again that is connected back to Mayday Grace Jones 519 birthday. This is blank. Get rid of it. Get rid of her now. Mayday. That's gone blank as well. So we don't need that. We don't need that now. We've gone through all this. The 31st, I think. Did we do a number jump with this? This is the 31st, 93. This is the number jump through. It's 12007. And this is 1439 prime. Is it interesting or not? Oh, 228. Yeah, it is interesting. This is Madonna's day of the year that Madonna's born on. 8/16 is the 228th day of the year. Boom, done. What else we got? Donald, no, done. Had enough of that. This is Super Bowl 49. We just touched on this very briefly. 28, 24, the date, the completion of a cycle, repeat again. Super Bowl 49. If the Rams had done it, this was another thing I'd looked at. It was it would have been a repeat game of 53, which is super duper interesting because 53 is in that clock tower. So I'd looked at this with the Patriots versus the would have been the Patriots versus the Ram, and the 133 reference with that was, I was like, ooh, that would have been quite nice, you know. See, this is the problem with kind of decoding. There are a lot of opportunities to find alternative decodes. You know, there are. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying every day works for a decode or all the connections work for a decode necessarily. You know, there's just multiple connections for decodes, but it is surprising when you do start doing a lot of sort of trying to predict stuff as well, decodes, or trying to look at potential dates. There are a lot of dates that have lots of connectivity to other dates, and you don't often, you don't always see a big event on those dates. So it does make you think about, sometimes you think, well, I could have decoded this Super Bowl if the outcome had been different. If it had been the Rams, we could have done a whole bunch of connections with these two, an absolute whole bunch of connections with the Rams and Patriots as well. So, it's not like set in stone that things have to be a certain way, I guess. I'm not sure. Okay? I don't know if you even understand what I'm saying there. Just a couple of things with John DeLorean, okay? He's got the 319 death date as well, okay? That's one thing. And if you actually click on him, let's get rid of this. I've got another tab up here with him. He was actually, when the company was going under, right? He was running out of money, and the FBI did a sting operation on him, and basically set him up. They called it entrapment, to smuggle some drugs or something like that. Anyway, there's some interesting dates here, like October the 19th, which you could get a 911 out of in 82. The cocaine reference, again with Charlie. The numbers that pop up here are pretty interesting. 6.5 million, blah blah blah, just the usual suspects on the numbers and everything. Anyway, he was found not guilty on August the 16th, 84. Again, tying back in with this, I guess we really should call it a Madonna Elvis date, really. So, I haven't done all the number jumps for all these different dates with it, but I just thought it was interesting. And so I thought, well, you know what, seeing as it's connected to Madonna and the DeLorean, let's look at it. 15151. Palindromic, absolutely, that's, again, crazy. That number is showing up with our May Day reference with 5-1, the 1st of May. with all of our, you know, the 105 days from 9/11 to Christmas, yada yada yada. We've seen this number show up so much, number 15. It's crazy. I don't think there's anything interesting about this. Not particularly. So that, though, I thought that's nuts. Absolutely crazy. What else got? We already did that. So I think that's the end of the decode. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anything in here. We did the view to a kill stuff. That film is loaded. We've gone through all the symbolism at the start of Back to the Future. Flying Elvis. Yeah. This is John DeLorean's death date through to the 5th, the 2/5 date coming up in between Madonna and Super Bowl, I guess. This was just interesting because it was a 666 composite right here, 6660. So again with the 2/5, I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't think there's anything else. That is it. A whole bunch of information. Oh my goodness. But the big takeaway is really that the Space Needle is here. The Space Needle is in the DeLorean. It's like a double DeLorean reference, so that, you know, what I've been talking about is the idea of crashing a big silver bubble. They've created a big silver bubble based on futures contracts, not real silver. This is what's allowing the price to just skyrocket like it is. There is not really that much demand for actual physical silver. What it is it's people selling paper contracts, okay? And that bubble that is being created, yeah, the Hindenburg, is going to crash and burn here pretty shortly. So having two teams that reference the DeLorean, reference the silver, we can have one that crashes and burns on the day and one that is resurrected on the day. So it'll be like instantaneous. The crash of silver will may bring down the dollar. This is pretty big ideas right here. That brings down the dollar, right? And immediately silver will actually be resurrected into real money. Yeah, it will restore silver back on the throne, if you like, however you want to look at it. But it's a death and resurrection thing. So what we were seeing at the Super Bowl here it might not happen on the actual Super Bowl day. Don't know when it's, you know, there'll be something related, of course. But the idea is that will be a ritual for that to then happen. Oh dear. Okay. But they do open the markets on Sunday night, so there is a potential for it to completely tank that night as well, I guess. So anyway, thanks for watching, and again, yes, we are also paying attention for 213 for the Hoover Dam. Okay, and I can't remember what it was in his. I need to go back and see what Decoding with Cody had in his last video. He had this really cool decode that involved The Simpsons and a Super Bowl, but there was also another number jump he had in there, which was, he didn't realize it, but it was a 551 reference. And I thought, oh, I need to remember what that is to put in a video, but I can't remember what it was. So I'll go back and look at that video and see what it was. Because remember, 155 is the reference to the clock tower. Okay, let me show you this. I've actually got, let's draw the clock tower in very, very quickly. Okay, I need to go to bed. It is getting really late. Again, Super Bowl 49. What was? Yeah, the it was Super Bowl 53, wasn't it? The Rams one. And if it had been replayed now, that would have been interesting because 53 is right in the clock tower. But anyway, here's the 55 stylized. This is the 551. That is the number jump in the dollar bill. that gets us from 911 to 213. And in fact, what happens is when that lightning hits, it comes down the line, it heads over to this side of the road. 5-1 is Mayday over here, which is referenced with the barber pole on the, side of the thing, which also has the upside down Space Needle, like this, on the with the Elite Barber sign. 911 is there. You convert this Fibonacci, the Fibonacci numbers here. This 0 actually technically in the cycle would be a 9. There's our 911 with the fire trails there. We've got pi in here. Also note that we've actually got the numbers of pi in here when the fire trail is made. All kinds of stuff. The clock stops at 4-1, which is also right here. This is the clock face here with the 1-4 numerology. The doorway to the clock tower. 2-5 is gate, I think, in gematria or door or something like that. So 2-5, this is important with the reflectivity of 2 and 5. So 25 is a good reference to a gateway. Again, when you write out 2 and 5, you get an upside down chalice. Yeah, flip around the other way, 52, which we've had a ton of references as well, is the chalice up the other way. Yeah. Again, if you come across here, this is our metaphysical and physical tower. Remember, 5-8s have been showing up a ton. Okay. 2-8 is the date of the Super Bowl. It's scribbled in purple, pinky purple line here. It's really purple. Isn't normally in here. Okay, it's kind of I call it kind of a hidden set of numbers because it changes all the. When it's not in here, we get this as totals, and when it is in there, the totals change to 72 and 116. Okay, and this is a quarter reference with the 1-4 here. So adding that back in, putting the quarter back in, gives us a slightly different outcome on our totals. Notice the 17 is in here with the purple. Notice that this is a reference 415 to the Titanic, going down to Notre Dame catching on fire as well, 514. I mean, just absolutely crazy. All the 1-7 references here as well. Mickey Mouse. This is why Michael is such an important name as well. Yeah, George and Michael kill the dragon, but Mickey here. Right, what else? I'm trying to think. I can't remember what I've got on here. 155 though is right here. So yeah, this is a nice number for him to crash silver at. And of course our 213 is right in here. And 28 maybe in there as well, but 28 is the reset of this cycle. So what comes before this 2 here, if you make it into a cycle, is a number 8. And don't forget, Doc has the Packard 8 parked there at the side of the road. So we have the 811 as well. Just a ton of encoding in that scene in Back to the Future when you compare it with this chart. Okay, and also with the physical and metaphysical, if you put triangular numbers in here, this here is 15, and then the next then we come over is 21. These are reflective of one another again. This is the 5 and the 52, 25 reflecting each other again there as well. Okay, I think that's it. Notice that 118, like Deflategate, happened on a 1-8 numerology, is a 4-9 reference. Yeah, if you use it like a times table chart here. Okay, and notice that the number 29 is a 2-7 reference, and 29 is what really balances these two numbers here, 11 and 18, in the middle of the table, and the 7 column is really what is combining these two columns here. So 7 references, like with the mirror, is really the mirror between here. This is why Tower 7 also fell at 9/11. Okay, because that's the tower that balances these two towers, I guess. Okay, so what's nice about this chart is it kind of helps us to start understanding like the interactions with some of these numbers. You know, if they're at the start of a cycle, you know, if they're at the end of the cycle, if they're in the middle, you know, and how each one interrelates to one another in terms of balance and so forth and so on. Yada yada yada. Okay, that's the end of this. All right, I've got to go to bed. All right, thanks for watching. All right, cheers.